So, if you've been watching my other videos, you know that I recently have entered into the Lord of the Rings fandom. And one thing I thought would be really fun is to go through and rank all the characters and just see like which one is my favorite, which one is my least favorite, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I have to put a couple disclaimers out here. One of which is I have not read the books. I've only watched the movies, and I've only watched the movies once. I'm just starting through my second time through. So there might be some characters that I don't know about at all because they're in the books, only in the books. I don't know them. So I'm just gonna go through and do what I have. So if I don't know the characters, I'm probably gonna have to like C or D. Not saying that they're bad, just saying I don't know. Can't rank them if I don't know. Another thing I want to state is that this is my opinion. So if you're like, I love that character, or I hate that character, I love that character that you hate, or I hate that character that you love, that's okay. Difference is opinion. Takes all kind of people to make a world. And also, I just also want to say, I'm not saying that like a character's bad. I'm just saying that compared to another character, they're not as good. Okay, so now we get started. All right. So yeah, so first we come to Tom Bombadil, I believe his name is, and honestly, I vaguely remember him because I read the first book. Vaguely remember him, don't know him very well, so I'm just gonna have to put him in C because I've heard he's a really good character and I know he's really popular. Now we come to Boromir. Boromir is an interesting character. I mean, aside from giving us one of the greatest meme templates of all time, one does not simply walk into Mordor. I have used that meme a few different times myself. So I have a huge affection for it. And he's definitely the most human, like the most relatable. He succumbs to it in a lot of ways, and he makes a bad choice. But he ends up kind of redeeming himself with his final words. First of all, being Aragorn, they took the little ones. He's frantic. And then he tells Aragorn that I would have followed you to the end, my captain, my brother, my king. And he kind of like accepts Aragorn as king of Gondor, even though it was like gonna unseat his family. So he's a good character, but because of his lack of screen time, I'm just gonna have to put him at a B. Now we come to Boromir and Boromir's father. Now, this guy's interesting, and one thing about ranking the Lord of the Rings characters is you have to rank the villains. How do you do that? I mean, seriously, because it's like, well, they're not good, but they're good at being bad. So I kind of have to rank them almost like how bad they are and how well they play into the story. And this guy, I'm not saying that he's bad. I mean, he's bad, and he's a really weird character to me. So, honestly, I don't like him. And I mean, at least I don't even appreciate his villainous. It's just, he's gross. He grosses me out. And he's bizarre. And he's obviously cuckoo. And I don't feel like his events are just like essential to the story. So, I'm going to put him below. I'm going to put him in, no, you're going in D. Now we come to Elrond. Elrond is actually, I'm a big fan of Elrond. I know he doesn't get a lot of screen time, but when he's on the screen, he's really good. I mean, he does some stuff that's kind of questionable, like trying to keep Arwen from being with Aragorn, but even that's kind of like he loves his daughter, so it's not necessarily like his motivation is genuine love. It's not like selfishness, like some characters, some people, like some like I just don't like your fiance, I guess, your betrothed, but I mean. He does. He loves Aragorn. I mean, we find out later, isn't he kind of like a surrogate father? It's because that, and I mean, he does have some good lines, and also the scene where he's basically giving Arwen to Aragorn, like giving away the bride. That is like the best scene, one of the best scenes in the trilogy, and he adds a lot to that scene, like just his face, the way he's clapping even as he's got tears in his eyes, and he's just like, it's just a really, really, really good. He's a good character, so he's a solid A for me. I really like him. He doesn't get a lot of screen time, but when he's on there, I love what he does. Now we come to this guy. I don't even know his name. Awen's cousin. No, Awen's brother. Excuse me. Awen's cousin is the one who died. This is Awen's brother. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why. There's just something about him I don't like. Maybe it's his appearance. I don't know. I'm not a fan of him. He's just weird looking to me. What you might say, but you have a huge crush on Aragorn. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's because I feel like I get Norse in my face all the time, and Aragorn, Legolas, some of the other guys are like an escape from that, and he's very much like he looks like a Norse god. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just don't like him, but he's not a bad character, so I'm just gonna put him above Tom Bombadil because he's actually, I know his character. Now we come to Eowyn. So there's something interesting about Eowyn. I did not like her very much in the first movie she was in the Two Towers. I don't know why. I just didn't. I don't think I liked her as a rival for Arwen. Just kind of made me sad. I don't know why. But then in the third movie, I really liked her. I liked her scene where she basically kills the Witch King. I think she kills him. That was great. I am no man. That was just a fantastic line. She has some great lines. And then also, how she ends up with Faramir was just, that was splendid. That was absolutely splendid. So, she's going to go above Boromir. Now we come to Gimli. I love Gimli. He is so funny, and he's so like I don't know, I relate to him. Like when he's running, I'm like, yeah, I'm that dwarf. The way he's like, keep breathing. It's so good. It's such a good character. He's funny. I love John Rhys Davies. That might be a huge reason I might be a little biased because again, big John Rhys Davies fan. So I am going to put him. Where do I want to put him? I'm gonna have to put him in S tier, but he's not gonna stay that high in S tier. Just so you know, there's gonna be a lot of people that gonna push him out. Now I come to Frodo. So I had an interesting conversation with my boss, who's a big fan of Lord of the Rings, and we happened to be working together one day, and I was telling her I was watching Pirates of the Caribbean, and Orlando Bloom, who plays Legolas, is in there, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize Orlando Bloom was attractive because he's not very attractive to me in Lord of the Rings. And I said, maybe it's just that Aragorn overshadows him. And she's like, well, yeah, because Aragorn's the main character. In some ways, he's more of a main character than Frodo. And that's why I'm doing them together at the same time. Because I totally agree with her. I mean, Aragorn is, I think, well, I will talk about Aragorn when it's his turn. But anyway, Frodo, I don't know how I feel. I mean, about his arc. I mean, I love seeing, like, how he never stops, how he never gives up. I mean, because of Sam, who we'll talk about in a little bit. But he's almost a tragic character to me. Not really. I don't know. His arc makes me cry of sadness. Aragorn's arc makes me weep for joy. So, I love Frodo. And of course, Elijah Wood is a superb actor. So yeah, I'm gonna put him in S because of course he's a wonderful character. He's a main character. You have to put him way up there. Yeah, I do love Sam. Not that I don't love Frodo, but now we come to Aragorn. So I'm not gonna dilly around because I think you all kind of know where he's gonna go. Yeah. Where else? I think if I had put him in like way down, I think some people would have fainted. I mean, not just because I talked about I'm a massive fan of Aragorn. I think it's just kind of a consensus. He's like the best part of the movie. Except maybe Sam. Sam might be competing for the best part. But yeah, there is nothing about Aragorn that I don't like, to be honest. Not that I'm sitting here trying to think of something I don't like, but there's nothing I don't like about him. I mean, I mean, it might just be the pretty package, comes in Viggo Mortensen's package. But that's not necessarily like he doesn't wear his hair like that in real life, does he? I mean, or his make his beard. Does he wear a beard? I haven't seen a lot of pictures of him with facial hair, so maybe he just grew this for the movie. But it's so good. And yeah, I want to talk about his art for a second. So yeah, talking about how he's more of a main character than Frodo. Yeah, I totally agree with that, especially after seeing the other movies, all three movies now, because I really liked seeing him. I'm going through the Lord of the Rings for the second time, and we were just watching the scene where he is sitting in the prancing pony with his hood over his eyes. He's hiding his face. He doesn't really he shows his face to Frodo, but he doesn't tell him who he is. And maybe in the extended edition he does. I don't know. I don't think he does ever. I don't think he tells Frodo who he is. He just says, like, they just call him Strider. Because, yeah, next scene they're kind of, how do we know this Strider is a friend of Gandalf? And we do see his relationship with Arwen set up and hinted that there's something going on because they're talking Elvish to each other, but he's like touching her hand. That's just so sweet. That's all we'll talk about. Like their chemistry. That's one thing you can't talk about. Like you can't talk about Aragorn when talking about Arwen. We'll do in a second, talk more about her as a character, but yeah. And then in Two Towers, him kind of actually no, excuse me, going back to the council, this Council of Rivendell, um, seeing him like just sitting there unassuming as possible. And he says something about we cannot wield it, you cannot wield it, none of us can. And him asking, what would a ranger know about this? Boromir asking him, and then Legolas is the one who steps up and says, this is no mere ranger, he's Aragorn, son of Arathorn. You owe him your allegiance. And then he's like, this is Isildur's heir? Yeah, heir to the throne of Gondor. And Aragorn's like, sit down, Legolas. I don't know how. I think it says have a die. Is that how you say it in Elvish? Have a die, Legolas. And he's like, I don't want it. But then he's like, he's a leader of the Fellowship, but he's not like taking on the kingly role. And then the second movie, so he kind of steps up as the leader of men. And I mean, yeah, he has that scene of him entering Helm's Deep. That's like one of the cooler things ever. It's just a great shot. It's cool. I mean, he looks so like as I said, he looked terrible, but it's such a good. I love that moment so much. What's the meme? You may be cool, but you'll never be like Aragorn entering Helm's Deep like a Bosco, or you'll never be Legolas surfing down the stairs. Cool. Yeah, it'll never be that cool. So yeah, that is, and then seeing in the third movie, like that. Again, this is something Elrond, because Elrond, the conversation that they have there, and Elrond saying, put aside the ranger and become who you were born to be. And then in the mine, in the mountain, Levi says, I am Isildur's heir, and I think that's the first time he speaks that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he doesn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below, but I'm pretty sure that's the first time he speaks that. And then after that, just kind of seeing the transformation, and then like even we see him changing his appearance. I mean, I will admit, I think he looks better with like his hair around his face. But just how he's like, he's tying it back. He's wearing the coat of arms. He's taking on the kingly role in a huge way, and I just think that is so wonderful to see that how he changes, and then of course seeing him become king. And let's just do her now. Technically, Legolas is supposed to be next. We can talk anywhere. Let's talk about Arwen for a second. I am gonna have to put her right below Gimli. I mean, granted, Legolas is gonna come here. Spoiler alert. But yeah, let's talk about these two for a second. So somebody that I know, there's no shade or anything like that. I've seen like cosplay of this, like, but it's not good cosplay. It's really bad, and I'm like, they do not need. You do not mock Arwen and Aragorn. That's like mocking. I don't know. It's bad. You don't mock them because they are such a good couple. Now, okay, Liv Taylor and Viggo Mortensen had fantastic chemistry, which is really crazy because aren't they like 20 years apart in age, but they played together. They played off of each other so well. But yeah, I loved. She had some amazing moments, whether it's rescuing Frodo from the ring race. No, again, I know this is the movie. I know it's not like this in the books. I know, and then the way, just I don't know. There's just so much about that other relationship that I absolutely adore. But she kind of has her own arc. I mean, in a weird, not. I mean, yes, it's connected to her relationship with Aragorn, but she chooses immortal life. She kind of defies her father, which, considering the society, was like no. So that was really cool. Not define, not to see her defy, but have her step up and say, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this choice. And just that whole relationship, their whole dynamic is just beautiful. Their chemistry is fantastic. And their kiss. You guys, their kiss. Is that not one of the coolest movie kisses ever? I went through like some top 10s videos of like ranking movie kisses. I mean, I watched them and I was really upset that this kiss wasn't on here because that is the coolest kiss ever. Like, I've been watching that scene over and over. The music, it's beautiful. They both look gorgeous. That whole scene is just fantastic. It could not be more brilliant. It's great. So yeah, I love both of them together. I feel like they kind of come as a pair. I mean, yeah, Aragorn is a better character, but what do you expect when he gets so much more screen time than she does? I mean, she's little bits throughout the movie. Now we come to Legolas, as I said. He's just gonna go right here. No, right there. No, I take that back. No, she is right below Gimli because I put Legolas above Gimli. And again, this might be because as big of a John Rhys Davies fan as I am, I'm a bigger Orlando Bloom fan. Now, granted, I wasn't his biggest fan until I saw him in Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm like, yes, that is your role. That is your look. You are a pirate boy. That is what you need to do. I loved his facial hair. I loved his hairstyle. Except I've seen a couple of trailers of one other movie that he was in, and I'm like, oh, that looks really good. Anyway, so it might be that I'm an Orlando Bloom fan. But no, he really has some good lines. I mean, yeah, you feel like you have to put him and Gimli next to each other because they really are a pair, but he gets some good moments on his own. I don't feel like Gimli gets as many on his own because that I have to put Legolas above him because he gets like some really, we see him stepping up as like, he's the one who tells them who Aragorn is. And it at least seems like they had a friendship before The Lord of the Rings. I could be wrong if they didn't, and maybe I'm just thinking about the fan fiction that I read, but it seems like they were friends. Yeah, because, I mean, you wouldn't be comfortable saying you're late to someone who you thought just was dead, and then you look terrible. You wouldn't be comfortable saying that to someone that you weren't, like, really good friends with. And, I mean, Gimli did threaten to kill him, but then he just hugs him or whatever. So yes, Legolas is such a good character. I love Legolas so much. And he does. I was rewatching it. He does get some good shots of like his hair rippling in the wind. I will admit, I'm not saying the look is bad. I'm just saying he looks better as a pirate, and Aragorn looks better in this movie. But I'm not saying he's bad looking. I'm just saying he doesn't look the best. He's not looking his best. Okay. Anyway, then we come to Bilbo. Bilbo is one of those characters that he doesn't get much screen time. And yeah, he's a pivotal character, but I don't know. I'm just not a huge. I don't know how I feel about Bilbo. He's not bad, but he's not good. And I don't feel like he really has any kind of redemptive arc because even as they're getting ready to go to the Grey Havens, he's asking about his old ring. I don't feel like he really changes that much. And not saying he's bad. I mean, he's a side character. I get it. He's kicking off the events, but then it's all like Frodo and Aragorn, and those are the main characters. So I'm just going to have to put him relatively low. I'm going to put him... No, I like him better than the Norse guy. I don't know. I just do. Now I come to Faramir. Faramir Faramir is an interesting one. I have to say, I think I like him better than Boromir, and that's not being Mike because I feel a little sorry for him. He's always being overshadowed by his brother, but I think he's acting is so good. I'm not saying Sean Bean's a bad actor. I'm a huge fan of Sean Bean. I mean, he was amazing in National Treasure, but um, I don't know. I'm just not like I like him. He's not my favorite, but he gets some good moments, like the whole he's like that conversation with his dad about you wish that I had died and Boromir had lived, and he just when his father says yes, he just is crushed. You can just see it in his face. I mean, understandably, what do you expect? So yeah, and it's really well done. And I mean, yeah, come on, he's just a good character. I'm having trouble here. Now we come to Merry. Merry and Pippin. I have to admit, I did not adore them. I mean, they were funny when they came on screen and everything like that. And they would make me laugh, but they weren't like, I didn't feel like they served a purpose beyond just being trouble. So it was really good in the third movie. Look at the Pippin later, seeing him get a little more of an arc. And I think Merry did too, but just not as much. So because of that, Merry is, I'm going to put him above Eowyn. No, I'm going to put him below Eowyn because I think Eowyn again gets a good arc. Now we come to Wormtongue. Okay, so I don't feel like I can put the villains up super high because I'm not allowed to like them. But as like a villain, he's really good. So I'm gonna put him. No, I changed this. I'm gonna put him below. No, I'm gonna put him above Bilbo because I feel like when he's on screen, he does a really good job. And I mean, again, this actor's portrayal is spot on. Now we come to Sam. Like I said before, there's only one character that I think could come close to Aragorn, like is being loved by people, and it's Sam. So yeah, I think you can guess where he's going. Yeah, right next to Aragorn. Cause I mean, yeah, and I mean, no, are they like right next to each other? Do I love Aragorn like substantially more? Yeah, I know. I had the conversation with yeah, with my boss again. We were talking about the different characters, and I said, here's what I think about their appearance. Now it might be the age. Sam, Frodo, they're kind of cute. They're cute. I mean, I kind of want to go, oh, you're so cute. I like you so much. I love you so much, Sam. You're such a good, I mean, Sam is not, I mean, he's a good character. And I mean, as a character, yeah. But appearance-wise, I'm like, Aragorn's hot. Can we just be real for a second? Aragorn's hot, just the way it is. Anyway, back to Sam. I'm sorry, I can't not talk about Aragorn. I love Aragorn so much. So Sam's he's a fantastic character. Like, a totally amazing character. There's nothing about him I don't love. I totally agree with Tolkien's assessment. Like, he's one of the true heroes. I still like Aragorn's plot arc better because, again, I feel like Aragorn gets the biggest redemptive arc. And I didn't say this earlier, I should say this about Aragorn. He probably won. He actually, for pretty sure, he is my favorite arc in any movie ever. He's my favorite movie. He is the best redemptive arc. I mean, there's two characters that I might put up close to him, but still, it wouldn't. He's the best by far. Not really like biggest character arc, but so Sam. I don't know if he has a character arc, but he has such a good storyline, like what he does and how he's the hero, and how he continually just his grit and his realization that how badly Frodo needed him. So he is just a fantastic character and just a all-time favorite. And I'm a Sean Astin fan. So a lot of these things, like I'm fans of the actors. I mean, I'm a fan of Sean Astin. I like some of his other roles. I mean, this is his best role by far, but he's been in a couple other things that I really like. I've not seen anything Viggo Mortensen was in. Anyway, now we come to Gollum. Now, as a bad guy, Gollum is probably my favorite of the bad guys, to be honest. Like, I think partly maybe it's because he kind of keeps you guessing. Because I was like, he's an example of what Frodo could become, which he 100% is, except if it wasn't for Sam. But he's But he kind of keeps you guessing because you don't know what is he going to decide to do, which his choice is he going to make. And he's irredeemable. He's an irredeemable monster, but you're never quite giving up hope until that last moment that he like bites Frodo's finger off. Oh, it's so gross. But anyway, so yeah, it's a bad guy. If we're talking bad guys, I'm gonna be in bad. I think I like him. Yeah, I like him better as a character than Faramir or Boromir, but not as much as any of these. Now we come to Isildur. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of screen time, but I know how I feel about him. So I'm gonna put him. I like him better than this guy, but that's like as high as I can put him. I'm not a big fan. I mean, yeah, he's supposed to be bad, but it's really hard to see like what his motivations are. I mean, it's just he's not a bad character. He's just not my favorite by any means. The Witch King, same. Gandalf. It's gonna sound like heresy. I like him better. I mean, I don't like him as much as I like any of these characters. I'm not saying I don't love Gandalf. I mean, he has some of the greatest lines ever. I mean, you shall not pass while we exercise what to do with the time that's given to us. Great lines. But I cannot get the relationship with Arwen and Aragorn out of my head. That's like my favorite. One of my new favorite relationships. Yeah, they don't get a lot of screen time together, but when they do, it's just superb. So yeah, I had to put him here. Not saying I don't love him. I just like these other characters better. I don't know why. It's just me. Saruman. Saruman. Yeah, I like him better than Wormtongue, but not as much as I like, but I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about him. He's just whatever. He's a good character. He's a good villain. Now we come to Pippin. Yes, Pippin. Okay, I am going to put Pippin in A. Yeah, I don't like him as much as any of these characters, but I like him better than any of these. I like his arc. I like how he kind of sees him stepping into like a role and still kind of being an idiot. And I mean, but whatever. Just I don't know. I like him, and he's just a good example of what we can be. Even though we told that's not a good idea, we'll still do it. And besides, one of the greatest lines were "Fool of a Took." Now we come to this character. Honestly, I don't even know who this is. I'm gonna put him in D. Sauron, obviously the worst villain. I mean, obviously the bad, like the worst, as in horrible, despicable. And he's terrifying, totally terrifying. So I'm gonna put him above in B because you're not supposed to like him. He doesn't get a lot of screen time. Now we come to Galadriel. Yeah, I don't know. I will put her in B. I do like Cate Blanchett as her portrayal of her. She's a good actress. It's a lovely part. I just don't think she gets enough screen time. It's hard for me to really put her up too high. Then we come to this guy, Witch King, I think. I'm gonna put him next to his. Now we come to Theoden. Theoden, I actually really like Theoden. I like Theoden. He's another character kind of keeps you guessing. You don't really know what he's gonna do, but he really steps up his game. He dies for his he dies for his, for his country, for everything, and he actually gives Eowyn the reins to run the country, which would run their peoples, to lead their people, which was really unique. So I really like that. So yeah, I'm gonna put him. I don't like him as much as Pippin, but I like him right here. And this is another character. Don't know who he is. You're going in D. So basically, so that is it. This is my ranking of all the characters. I don't know if there's anything that would shock you because it's pretty obvious. I don't know. Does it shock you that I don't like Gandalf as much as I like Arwen and Gimli, Legolas, and I mean, come on, you can't tell me that it's a shock that Aragorn is my all-time favorite and Sam is my second favorite characters. And it feels almost like heresy to say Frodo's my third favorite, but it just is. It's just true. Um, so yeah. So if I want to, since this has made me realize that am, I keep getting distracted when talking about Aragorn because I forgot something. So I'd kind of like at some point to go in and do a full video of like talking more specifically about Aragorn, making more Lord of the Rings videos, maybe get Seth in on that. I have to see because I mean obviously we're huge C.S. Lewis fans, we're both huge Tolkien fans too. So if that's something you guys like to see, let me know. And yeah, so that is it. My ranking, and again, just my opinion. If you don't like it, that is okay. And let me know in the comments below which is your favorite character, which is your least favorite character. What you think about like Gollum, his personality. That was really interesting thing. So yeah, let me know. All right, and also please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. So like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye guys.